You made 23,000 in 1 month. That's insane. And how much work is it for you?
2 minutes.
That's insane.
And then like 10 seconds to upload.
Wow. 10 seconds. Came up with this Python bot that makes videos automatically. You just wait and let it cook while you just watch your bot do it. Now you click a button and it gives you everything except you just change the title of the video.
Yeah.
What did people comment?
That just made no sense.
This is garbage, dude. So you have 4 channels right now. You would think if you didn't, you would not have succeeded.
No.
Welcome to the first podcast of Money on My Mind. Today I am joined by Matt. He is a 23-year-old freelance web designer who makes around $6,000 to $10,000 per month, but around 2 years ago started a YouTube channel that he now runs completely through code. That single YouTube channel is generating him over $50,000 a year. But how much time does he put towards it? Well, basically nothing. His coding script is able to run it for him, and he posts these videos with pretty much zero time commitment and is able to make minimum $3,000 to $4,000 a month pretty much doing nothing himself. So in this episode, expect to learn about this and how ridiculous this actually is. I mean, here we have someone who's making the average US salary completely passively, without doing anything, and it's all done through code. I almost didn't believe him myself, so I had to bring him on the podcast and ask more. And in this episode, he goes over the exact steps he took to grow his channel from literally nothing to fully automating it and making thousands of dollars a month from it. This is gonna be a good one, guys. Enjoy the show. So it says here you coded a bot to run your YouTube channel and it makes you $50,000 per year. How is that possible?
Not very simply, to be honest.
Not simply.
No.
How did you do it?
Well, I guess I would say it started like 6 years ago when there were the Reddit videos that were like huge, like Ask Reddit, things like that, and like people were doing them automatically. And I figured that out through seeing someone post about it on Reddit, and they're making like 20,000 a month from it, and they were like 18. I was like, I have to figure out how to do that.
Where were they posting to? YouTube?
It was, yeah, they're on YouTube. Their channel is no longer around anymore because like in 2020 YouTube cracked down
On Reddit story videos.
Oh yeah, because it
So
was
they
using
didn't
like
let
a bad
people.
TTS voice, and they didn't like the monetization. It was just low effort. Everyone was uploading 3 times a day. That's what I
Yeah.
was doing. So then I found one on GitHub that pretty much did what I needed to do, but I like heavily modified. Well, I learned Python to heavily modify it, and like pretty much turn it into whatever I needed to do to like change the way the videos look completely, to change how it got the posts, and even I added like a ton of things. Like it even had like different like settings for like the comments and the way to get the posts, like search them or whatever, and I added stuff like that because I just had to like reverse engineer how it worked and like kind of change things and see what it did until it broke, and then figure out how to fix it, and then figure out
I
how to
see.
do what I need to do, because this
Wait,
was
so
like
you learned
4 years ago.
Python in order to code the Reddit bot for YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, so how did that go? Did you actually make money with the Reddit bot at first?
Honestly, I made no money. Well, technically, I did. I did get monetized, but like I was at the tail end. I got like 20,000 subs in like 6 months, and like I want to say like a few million views, I think. But I was like at the very tail end of it. So like my channel made about 1.3K, and then it got demonetized, and then like
Okay. And you
stuff
didn't
happened.
expect the demonetization to come in?
Not
Did you
really,
know it was
no.
happening?
Like it kind of happened where like they were just taking out all the people that were doing like the TTS voices, like the low effort stuff. And I mean, I did end up making money from it because I sold the channel for $600. So there's that,
Not
but
bad, yeah.
it was not worth the 6 months and dozens or hundreds of hours I put into like completely changing that program and turn it into what I ended up doing.
And then, so how did that lead into the channel that you have now that's making you money?
Honestly, it was just kind of like the foundation for it. Like after that, I kind of didn't see like that YouTube was not really accepting automated stuff, or like it just like wasn't possible with the technology now. But then I had a friend that he started doing stuff like relationship drama, which is like a similar video format, but just a different niche. And he was doing that, and it was like doing pretty decent. So I he kind of convinced me to start again. This was like back in 2022, 2023, I believe. Yeah.
I
Started
see. So
2023 is
he
when I
was doing
started the channel.
automated relationship drama videos.
Mm,
And how much was he
yes.
making from that?
He was doing like a few thousand a month, like three, four, maybe. Not crazy, but he was like
Uh,
18, some like 18, 19. So that's pretty decent.
so this
Um,
18-year-old came up with this Python bot that makes videos automatically about relationship
well,
drama. Do you have the link to his
he,
channel? I'm curious to see
yeah,
what his videos
yeah,
look
I
like.
can. He
You want to
doesn't
pull
do
that
it
up?
anymore, but
I
he,
believe you can share screens on here if you want to pull it
okay,
up.
he didn't code anything though. He, he did the automation where it was like, just like having people like, I think at first he did Reddit, like stuff posts from Reddit, and then he eventually hired writers to write his stories.
Oh, okay, so it's a little bit code,
Yeah, somewhat,
a
because
little bit hiring.
he was still using the program that I made to like make the videos, like
Hmm.
actually automate them. But for the content, he had writers, and I think that costed him like around 500 a month, something like that. And because like I was like sharing what I was making with like the program or whatever, because it was nice to have like someone that was doing the same thing as you and kind of sharing the information you have, so then you can learn new things quicker because
Yeah.
someone figures something out, they make a mistake, and then
Did you
it's
have
just
like a
nice.
close group of like a bunch of like a Discord or something with a bunch of coders that all just ran these automated bot YouTube channels that were just
No,
freaking
I, like honestly, it was just me and him. We
wow, okay, cool.
yeah, like he doesn't do the YouTube anymore, but like I'm still working on my program, and when it's at a state where it's like I'm comfortable with sharing it with someone, I'm gonna share it with him, let him get back to it
Hmm.
because he's like the only reason I'm doing it anyways. But it's just also because like um, it's kind of hard to like share the program or whatever because like if you do, then it's like any issue that happens or whatever, you're tech support all the
Yeah,
time.
I see what you
So
mean.
you have to try and figure it out over Discord and over text, and it's not fun.
That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah.
Back to your actual channel now that you run. So,
hmm
how many times a week do you post on this channel? And how much
7.
work is it for you?
I post like once a day. Sometimes if I am testing stuff, I'll do twice. Do like I upload at 7 p.m., but like sometimes I'll upload one at noon. So and
Hmm.
it kind of gives it time for the video to get going, kind of see the reception by the time the next one comes out. So like it gives me little bit more data to see how the video is performing with changes I make. I would say just for purely running it, it's literally maybe like I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It depends because I
It
have
takes
the only
3 minutes
manual
to run
thing.
and make a
Yeah.
1 hour. Oh, how long are the videos? Like 30 minutes to an
Uh,
hour, right?
yeah, like average 35
That's
to 50
insane.
minutes. Yeah.
That's insane.
And like, I mean, it takes like 20 minutes for the program to run, but like for my time, all I have to do is just run the program. And there's right now, there's one weakness in it. Like the biggest one, at least there's multiple really, because I'm just like striving for improvement and perfection and just getting as good as possible. Um, there's the biggest one right now, just coming up with getting the AI to come up with the ideas
Hmm.
for what the video is going to be about and having it actually like be good and have interesting stuff that happens in it, which is tough. Like I trained a GPT-4 model on videos and stories from Reddit to kind of get an idea of what I'm looking for, but it's
Hmm.
still not perfect. And I'm currently working on some ideas for um, getting that ironed out and getting it as good as I can. But that's still going to be a work in progress to get
Yeah.
it
Could
be
you explain
consistent.
like start to finish, like how the bot actually works? So, what do you
Yeah.
input into the bot? How does it produce this
Um.
into a video? And then what does the actual video output look like?
So for me, when I start it, I don't do anything. I just run it, and then it has like a collection of prompts that I use for the fine tune to kind of direct it in the direction I want for like the topic of for like the topic of the actual video. And then from there, I will pretty much just kind of proofread it and then see if it's good. Because it's like not at the point where I can fully autonomously do it. But with what I'm trying to end up doing is like, I think in about a month or so, I'll be able to get that problem solved to make it fully automated. And I can just have it run on my server and then it'll be able to do whatever. But like for when I'm starting, it just runs. It chooses a random idea that I have in like the list of prompts, and then from there it generates that idea, which is pretty much like a summary of the story. And then from there it generates a plot outline. It has like I call them scenes or whatever, but it's like the chapters of the story, of like what happens, like break it up in small parts,
Mm.
and then it takes those chapters.
And that's done with GPT. Like
Yes, this is
okay,
yeah.
okay.
This is all ChatGPT. This is all 4.0,
Okay.
with some like fine tunes where like I notice some areas where it falls behind and it's not the quality I want. So I'll make fine tunes to get the output I'm looking for if it's not able to consistently do it. Because like sometimes like the big thing is like just getting consistency. Because sometimes you can have a fine tune that does like pretty kind of gets what you want sometimes, but if you want to
Right.
have it run automated, like fully autonomous,
Yeah,
you need
you'd
to have
rather
trust.
guaranteed pretty
Yeah.
good output than a most of the time great output, but
hmm
sometimes complete
Yeah,
dog shit.
which is still what I'm working on. That's like tough.
Okay.
Like getting ChatGPT to have good imagination. That's like
Yeah.
kind of original and consistent. Because like I mean, it can be pretty consistent, but then like if it's a normal one, but then it gets the same thing over and over again, pretty
Right.
much, because it can't create new ideas.
Okay, so you have GPT take it, you have it come up with the ideas, write them into scenes, and then write each of those scenes or chapters into scripts, and then you have the
hmm
script for your video, the storyline, and then so what
hmm
do you do from there? Or what does the bot do from there that you just
Um,
wait and let it cook while
Yeah,
you
so
watch your bot do it?
after it writes it, then which I can kind of move this anywhere, I guess. But after it writes it, then it'll come up with a title for the video. Then this is the part where I have to do like the manual approval, where it's like it comes up with a title and I just say yes or no, and then until I get one I like. Or sometimes if I just don't like it at all, like it's not coming up with anything after like five, because this is still another area where like I have to redo the fine tune because now there's new um, features for like better quality control with that.
Yeah.
But then it will just choose it, and then after that, um, after I accept, then it'll go and generate a image for the video and thumbnail, and then it'll put the text of the title over top for the thumbnail, and then after that, it'll send the title. No, it'll send the title, the thumbnail, the video background. Oh no, then it does the audio. I forgot to say that. Then it makes the audio.
So based off the storyline, it makes the title,
hmm
and you have that,
Yes.
but you normally have to approve that manually.
Yes. Just
I
because the
noticed that
title.
too. I've tried using like ChatGPT or like these different specific GPTs for like video title creation, and every time it's just not what I would look for. Especially like that one video that I made that popped off that was like non-guru explains how to print with YouTube. Like no AI would have came up with that realistically. Like
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, with fine tunes, you'd be very surprised at how like good you can get it because it knows what you're looking for and like the specific format and like the wording. So it actually like with you if you have a fine tune made for the titles, then it's actually very good. Like you
okay.
don't it's actually like sometimes better than
So
what
and
I
a
would come up
fine
with.
tune is when you've just specifically trained it off of like a specific data set, so it
Yes, yeah.
replicates
I
that
would
type of
yeah, like
style.
you for because for making the data sets, you really need at minimum 100 samples. So it can kind of take a while. So like I'll build a little Python script to get the data I need and then format it in the data set file.
Oh,
And then,
scripts to pull the. Okay, that's funny. So you make
yeah.
a script to pull data for what you want to fine tune it on. Then you
hmm
write a script from the fine tuned model to create the video. Okay.
Yeah.
And where
Yeah.
do you pull the scripts or what you fine tuned your thing on? is Reddit stories
Yes.
that were
Well, it
popular
kind of,
probably, right?
yeah, it kind of depends because like for the titles, I I trained it on the titles from my previous videos, and that way then it's able to do what I do, or like come up with
Mhm.
stuff that I would come up with.
Mhm.
And I did like I think I did it on like 400 or 500 videos that I trained it on, and same with the story ideas. I think I did like about 500 um, stories that I trained it on, so it knows kind of the general idea. I don't know like how many you're supposed to do. I've done same. You just have to test. And the thing with testing though is it just costs money. Like sometimes a lot if you have a big data set. Like I've had a um, one of the testing things that I've done was a fine tune that was about 1.5 to like 2 to 3 million tokens, which is about 100 $200. And
Mhm.
every time I had to like redo that like 10 at least 10 times.
Wow. So $1,000 to fine tune, and this was for the
And
title.
I didn't even use it. Like it just kind of went nowhere.
This
So
was for the title. This was for fine tuning the model to title your videos, which you end up
um,
correcting anyways.
this was for what was it? This was for like the story ideas that I
Mm.
did. Because you have
And
to
that's
like
probably much
input.
more. That's probably very important, though.
Yeah,
Right.
and I didn't. I ended up using none of them because I just
Wow. Okay.
couldn't get what I wanted. So
Wow.
that yeah, that one wasn't very fun. But yeah, like pretty much it'll just going back
So
to
there
like the
are
code.
expenses. Well, let's
Oh
walk
yeah,
through the rest of the. Let's
yeah.
walk through the rest of it, and then I want to see what the expenses are and how
Hmm.
much profit you actually make compared to how much revenue you
Okay,
make compared to actually how much you spend.
yeah. I
So
would say
you
the
got through
developing is the
the
most expensive, but yeah.
right. Okay. So you got through the outline, like writing the idea, the outline, the
Hmm.
script, and then the titling, and then we have. It seemed like you were going to talk about the audio.
Yeah, the audio. I just use 11 Labs. I have there's voices you can get in the community thing that
Mhm.
I used to use. But like after a while, it's kind of just like um, the big thing with this is like not relying on other people. That's why like I'm doing this. Like I could hire people to do this stuff or whatever if I want, but like I would just rather. I mean, I can code, so it's like I can build stuff to do people's jobs pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's really I can spend like a few hours, but it's like I they have a feature where you can generate a voice, like you kind of describe what you want, and then it'll generate a voice for you. And so I did that. It took me probably like 3 days to get to the one I wanted that it sounded like, how I was looking for. Because you can do like community ones where it's like cloned and it's what else? There's like other generated ones people share and they sound pretty good. But the big thing is like someone owns that and they can do whatever they want with it, or like they can take it down or whatever. Other people can use
Mhm.
it. So it's like for me, it's like I want to have something where it's there. People are not like, oh, I've heard this somewhere before or whatever. So it's kind of like more unique to my channel, like what I'm specifically looking for. So I did that. It'll break up the audio, like it'll break up the script into. I do 5 paragraph snippets, just to like kind of because smaller text allows it to keep the audio more consistent because there's can be like
Got it.
less variation in the
So if
way
you had
it
one
sounds.
huge 1 hour block of text, it would start probably messing up somewhere down the line.
Yeah, and
So you
then
split it up into okay.
yeah, I figured that out. Where like there was some other. I didn't use 11 Labs at the start. I did look into them like a year before I switched to them, but I don't think they were as good as they were.
Mm.
Um, but I just found that like it'll like change volume or say things weird if you give it too much text at once. So like just give it a little bit, and then I would add then with code I would put the audio all together, all the audio clips.
You'd have the code, give it a paragraph, voice the paragraph, add that to the video, then do
Hmm.
the next one, add that to the video, and just
Yes,
continue doing
yeah.
that
So then
until
it'll just
the whole thing.
put them all
Okay.
together for me after it makes them, and
Okay.
then after that it puts it into one big audio file. So it's like the whole thing,
Okay.
and then after
You got the
that,
audio, and then the video is the last
yes,
part,
and
right?
then
Okay.
now is the video generation, which I've done a couple. I have a couple of options for it. Well, I mean, I have a powerful computer and like a powerful laptop,
Mhm.
anyways, just for building this. But I only just recently was able to get fiber in my area, so kind of as a necessity because the videos are like an hour long and they're like few gigs, which actually like isn't crazy, but it's like with my internet speed at the time, it would take like sometimes up to an hour to upload a video.
Yeah.
um, so to fix that, and also to kind of fix the issue of if I'm traveling or whatever, I decided to offload the video generation and video uploading to AWS because
What
then
is
I
AWS?
it's a cloud computing service. So like they have servers somewhere in data centers and have these crazy powerful graphics cards and super fast internet because it's a data center. This took me a while to do because I've never used AWS before, and then like I had AI to help me and stuff and kind of build most of the stuff, but I had to like kind of figure out how to make it work with my account and all that stuff. So I found I did some tests and I got it working, and then I requested an increase for the amount of servers that like not the servers, but like the amount of like CPUs and stuff I can use so I can get access to more powerful servers. So like
Mhm.
right now, I think the ones I am able to use are like H100s, which I know that's not really going to mean anything, but they're like I think they're probably like at least $5,000 for a graphics card, something like that. Um,
Wow.
and they're like super powerful or whatever, which is like not needed at all because it's literally just putting audio over an image. But when I was doing that, it was a lot more. I had like all these options for like subtitles, audio visualization, multiple stuff.
I see. So once you have the audio file, you create the video file based on whatever the audio file is, and you have a couple different options. So you can either go with like captions just on the screen,
hmm
and that's done. How is that done?
Um, through Python with FFmpeg, I had
Okay. Okay.
to um, install that onto the cloud computers, which was a very big hassle getting everything installed. It's like I have it set up where it's like when it would run, it would create the virtual computer and then it would install everything that it needs and then
Mm,
it would move the files over that it needs and then it would run the program and then like just kind of pretty much do all the setup for you. So like, you just run it. Has all your account information already. So then it just sets everything up that it needs. And then, but like with that, it brought the video generation time down a lot. So it was like maybe like I want to say like maybe like 5 or so minutes to actually create the video, and
mm.
then like 10 seconds to upload.
Wow.
So
10 seconds. That's insane.
yeah.
So FFmpeg has a built-in audio to text transcriber.
Oh yeah, no, never mind. I forgot about that. No, I had to
Okay. Okay.
use I can't remember which one I used. I used either Whisper X or Faster Whisper, which is libraries or like offshoots of OpenAI's Whisper, which is a transcriber. So
Okay.
I would transcribe the audio and then turn that audio into a subtitle file, which could then be put onto the video.
Okay. And then what about if you wanted to visualize it?
FFmpeg has that. Like it's kind
Okay.
of pretty basic, but
Okay.
they it was just pretty easy. You just kind of have the filters to do that, and then it would just be
I
able to
see.
visualize it. But honestly like with mine, it's not really needed like to do all that extra stuff. But like having the subtitles is nice because it's a good option. People enjoy subtitles, and then yeah, there's honestly like not a crazy amount of stuff you can really do specifically with FFmpeg for like complex editing. Like you can put clips and
Yeah.
stuff together. You can do all that stuff, which I will be exploring soon. Which like another thing I had as an option too, different niches was like ability to automatically get stock videos and it gets
Right.
stock
I,
videos,
I
put
was
them
gonna say
together.
because I know InVideo AI.
Maybe.
So they I guess are like a video editing AI software,
hmm
and they're trying to do something similar where you can type in a text prompt, and then it comes up with all these things for you. So you say I want a video about the top 10 coldest places to live, and then it'll create the voiceover, like the script, the voiceover,
Hmm.
and the video by actually having like each scene a stock footage of where it is, or even potentially AI
Interesting.
generated videos or images for that thing.
Yeah,
Do you think
like
that
for
would improve your
this,
videos and like the retention on them?
um, no, honestly, I could have a blank screen and it wouldn't matter, to
Really?
be
So your
honest.
viewers on your story videos, they're really just listening.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like audiobooks is all it
Okay,
is.
got it, got
Like
it.
most people in my niche, they only like, well, some people even just put just a thumbnail as the video image, and
Yeah,
that's it. It just doesn't matter because people would just like listen to them while they're doing stuff or like while they're going to sleep or whatever. So as long as it's like not like super distracting, then it's gonna be fine. So that's kind of I wasted a lot of time trying to do all the video editing with like the subtitles and all of that and get it all working when I ended up just never using any of it because
yeah.
I tried it and it just didn't do anything. So
And I assume there's a lot of things like that on the process where you spend a whole day testing a thing and it doesn't even end up mattering.
yep,
Yeah.
that's pretty much most of everything I've done is
Okay. So, and then you have one thing that does work, and that's when it. Okay. So
mm,
let's get into that. So, how did you actually start seeing how this worked? Like, did you uploaded a video? How long did it take for your first video to get views? And when were you like, oh, okay, shoot, like this can work? Because I assume you spent some money to
um
do all the pulling all the stuff from GPT and 11 Labs and getting all that generated.
yeah,
So you weren't sure if you were going to actually make money from it yet.
no, I wasn't. I mean, for at least like at the beginning, like for like the first 6 months, to be honest, though, it wasn't fully automated just because like it was GPT 3.5. It was not good. It was literally just 16,000 token context windows, which is like nothing compared to what it is now. Which that was back then was like huge. I mean,
When was
16,000
that when
tokens.
GPT came out?
Yeah, like when it first became public, pretty much
Okay, yeah.
is
And so
like
it was just garbage then.
yeah, like it was good enough, and I tried doing it where like I just had to just write it and copy paste, and then I saw the comments, and I was like, okay, so I have to like actually put effort into
What did
this.
people comment? They were
That just made no sense. It was just bad.
okay.
Nothing made any sense because it couldn't remember anything. It couldn't do anything, and I thought I was like, oh man, this is gonna be super easy. GPT can just write a story for me. It's just gonna do everything. And I tried it
Yeah.
for like a week, and then everyone hated it. So then I just deleted all that, and then had to like come up with an idea because like the thing with
Did you
these,
start on a
um,
completely new YouTube channel from
yeah,
scratch?
yeah,
And
I
so it
made
was getting
a
views.
channel
How
for
many
this.
views did those first, even those bad videos, how many did those
Um, like 20,
20 views, and people
10,
were
20.
commenting on the 20 view of the 20 viewers, there were still a good like couple of people that were like, yeah, this is garbage, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Um, it took me like I think like 3 months before I got monetized, something like that.
Of
So then,
consistent posting.
yeah, every day.
How many every day?
Hmm.
Okay, and you're able to just post if you wanted to, you could post 10 times a day.
Now, but not back then, because back then
Right, right.
I was using GPT to like write the stories and kind of like give me the story ideas, and then I was doing a lot of work for this actually, because I realized if I wanted to be good and succeed, I had to put effort into it. Because if you can just copy paste, then anyone can do that. So
Yeah,
then
there would be a billion channels. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just not good because then if anyone can do it, then it's like you're not going to really get anywhere. So I have to actually put a lot
Right.
of effort into this, these
That's why
AI
I always say,
tools.
like, to go into an automation niche, there needs to be a barrier to entry. Like, if
Oh yeah.
literally anyone can do it without any knowledge or
Hmm.
understanding of virality or anything, then it's like, well, the competition is going to be absurd.
Yeah, because anyone can do it. You just copy paste. Like it's
Yeah.
literally no work. Like I mean, for me now, it's no work, but I put in thousands of dollars and hours into making it,
Mhm.
so it's no work. But like when I was first starting out, I was actually like how I figured out how to do the workflow for my program is I just created the program that does the same workflow I did when I started out. So
So
like, I
you
kind of
looked at all the manual steps that you took at the beginning,
mhm,
and then you were like, okay, what step can I just have the code do this one?
yeah.
Boom. And then just replaced it
Yeah,
until
and I
it did it
just
by itself.
replaced pretty much replaced all the different tasks I did to create the videos before with
Hmm.
now AI is capable enough to do that. Which there's still areas where it's like honestly I'm not like fully like this is like 100% like this is like super good, but it's like most of the time it's pretty solid and it's good enough, and I'm still working on getting it better. But like before, use ChatGPT to come up with the idea, then I would create the story outline just like normal, like just like I do now. From that, break it up. I think I used to like break it up into like 3 or 4 acts in the story, and then break up those acts into 3 or 4 scenes or chapters. And then I would have it write those scenes, and then I would take those scenes, put them into Google Docs, and then edit them to make them sound less like AI. So like kind of change some words around, reword things, and then make sure what it's outputting makes sense with what came previously. So like I would have to, like, if it did something, then I had to be like, you got to rewrite it, include this, which is like what mine does now. And then I would just do that, and then it would take me like 4 hours, like 3 or 4 hours every day.
So you took a process that by hand would take, anyone could do right now, but it would take 4 hours to get done.
Like anyone can do.
Now you click a button and it gives you everything, except you just change the title of the video.
Yeah, which is also like a huge reason why I decided to do it. Like it's still kind of in the coming up phase where it's like just starting to be good enough to where people are actually like liking the stuff a lot that it's outputting.
Yeah. At least as much as a human generated story.
Yeah. I mean, so far it's looking pretty interesting. There's definitely like, I'm kind of a perfectionist. So like to me, if it's still not anywhere close to being perfect, but I mean, it's good enough to at least get probably a few thousand a month consistently. I feel like it's gonna be able to start.
So when did you start? So you said it took you 3 months. When did you have a specific video that started taking off and you were like, oh, okay, yes, this is working now? Or did it just slowly push?
Most of the time it was just slow. Every once in a while I would have a video that kind of like pops off and will kind of be like a standard deviation away from my normal videos. I didn't really have a video that really did well until like November of 2023, which was like, I want to say like 6 months or so, 5 months after I started.
6 months of, okay, nice.
And that one got like 300,000 views, something like that, and had a couple 100,000 plus view videos back then.
So before that point, how much money did you spend trying to make these videos?
It's probably like 4 hours a day on average, and it was $20 a month. What was it for ChatGPT? And then it was, well, then with like the TTS, I was spending about $100 a month for that. And by this point, it was like there's no fine tunes or any extra costs like that. So it was pretty cheap. It was probably like maybe $200 a month to run.
And then how much does it cost now for you to run the code that you have now? Video start, like let's say I click the button, want to create one video and have it just uploaded to YouTube. How much does that cost?
I think it's about like $2 per story from all of the.
Oh, that's so cheap. What?
Yeah.
That's
so $2
cheap.
for all of the API calls for the AI. And then 5 cents for the image, or I think it's 4 cents actually. So that's
for the thumbnail image.
Yeah. To make that, it's like 4 cents. 11 Labs, I'm paying only the $100 because I used to do the 300 for like most of the past year. I did the $300 tier, but for this now, they changed it so it's cheaper to run. So I don't need to have
that. So that's a fixed cost every month. Okay.
Yeah, about 100. Sometimes I go over if videos are longer, or I'm testing so it generates some more audio. So maybe like $150 around there. And then if I'm using AWS, that's probably like another $100-$200. But if not,
like $250 a month in like fixed costs, and then $2 a video basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you can and then how much does your channel make per month on average?
Right now, about 3,000-4,000. My peak when I was manually doing everything was 23,000. Yeah.
So you made 23,000 in 1 month. That's insane.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. But it was like, it kind of sucked because at that point I was just like super burned out. You know, it's to reset the progress pretty much, start over again the next day, figure something out. Sometimes like it takes a while to even like get an idea because ChatGPT will sometimes not give you anything that's usable. So then you have to like retry and then find something and then turn it into something. And I just got really burned out, which was a definitely a mistake I made
Mhm.
of trying to develop and push the program too soon. Because back then, that was like about a year ago now, it was not good enough. There was no reasoning models. There was no
Yeah.
context window good enough to fully automate this. I definitely probably should have hired help, but I just wanted to get this made, and now
Yeah,
I'll be
there's
able to
also
spread it
probably some
over.
like just passion of being like, I did it, you know?
Yeah,
But
and also
okay,
now I'll
so
be able to have multiple channels that I'll be able to
that's
feasibly
what I was
run.
gonna
That'll
ask.
make up
So
for it. Yeah,
so you have 4 channels right now.
I do, but I'm only focusing on my main one
I was
running.
gonna ask if you so as far as I can tell, it seems like right now you've gotten your main channel to a point where you spend $2 to make the video,
Hmm.
and if you're making like $3,000 to $4,000 a month and you post 1 to 2 times a day, you make an average of like $50 to $100 from each video.
Hmm.
So you get a
Yeah.
25x return by literally clicking this button of your Python script.
Hmm.
Why don't you do this on 10 channels right now? Like the same exact thing
Um,
and just upload that on 10 channels.
I'm planning on it. It's just I'm kind of waiting to get like the proof of concept done to kind of see that like
To
this.
me, that looks like proof if you're making
I
that much
mean,
with it.
this is like I've only very recently in the past month like really dedicated a lot of time to kind of improve the program to kind of get it to the point where it is now. It wasn't like always as good as that. So I'm still trying to get the confidence in me to kind of then end up adding more to it because when I have to do more channels and I kind of have to make sure it's going to be good, which I think now I'm in like the next month, I'm going to be starting up. There's like different issues I have to solve. For like the ideas, getting the peace of mind for me. But I know like once I do, like I have a big competitive advantage with it because I
Yeah.
can just turn it out without much work, without much money. It's not like reusing stuff that people have seen before or heard before. So
Right.
I have that aspect as well.
I wouldn't even underestimate the power to do that because so I run a bunch of animal channels and a
Hmm.
lot of them are like very, very similar videos or very, very similar scripts with just like a thing changed here or there. And maybe it's different because people don't remember the shorts as well as they remember a long form video. Maybe if they see the same long form,
Yeah,
they'll get
I'll
annoyed
get
with it.
comments
But I mean,
sometimes if I
we've just
like,
been able to rinse and repeat like
yeah.
very similar shorts and still see good results.
I have a whole thing of the stuff I've done before, like the stories I've done before, and then I'll kind of like either rewrite it, have like the bot rewrite it, or like use that as inspiration to kind of make a new one. And like some people will notice, but like most of the time, sure they won't. But it's definitely just kind of a me thing because I mean like YouTube isn't like my only income. I kind of want to say it's kind of like a side thing because it's like I'm kind of hesitant to rely it on as
Yeah,
a primary income just because
it's
of
not
how
super stable,
yeah
right?
how unstable it is. But like I'll feel better
That
once
could
I
get
like
demonetized just like the Reddit videos were. Yeah.
yeah, if I can kind of get that sorted and have like 5 channels in different niches, get into shorts, be super diversified to where I have
Right. I was gonna ask if you've tried to automate shorts yet.
no, I have ideas though. I know I can definitely do. I know it'll probably be easier because it's like a minute versus 40.
Yeah.
At least in some ways. But like for like the script writing, I know I have some ideas. Like I can build fine tunes, like write the hook. That'll be a thing that I can do
Mhm.
if I can just like get like I don't know 1,000 hooks.
I want to show
Mhm.
you a video I saw of some guy. I just want to show you this video and see what your opinion on this is.
Okay.
AI automations are really on the next level nowadays because I just ran this AI agent automation and it gave me these videos that are getting millions of views. And since I have that automation running daily, it gave me another video this morning that's of this level of quality, entirely from scratch without me even needing to be involved in the video creation process.
So what do you think about that, first of all?
I mean that's definitely good. That lowers the barrier of entry for it. But I assume that's a service you have to pay for, which I guess wouldn't really be an issue
Yeah.
if you are um,
Making enough from it.
making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, for me, I personally like you can use all those stuff, but I was like building programs, so I could do that myself and probably have it up and running in like a few days after like some testing.
Mhm.
Because then like with the other thing too is with me building this stuff versus like using a service like that is it gives me a lot of freedom with what I can do with the process of how the videos are made. I am currently working on building a channel manager that'll let like a dashboard that'll let me like create videos for like all the different channels I'm gonna have or like
Mhm.
that I'm running, and I can just connect them to it, and then I'll be able to create the videos, and then that'll be easy. So then with that, like I could build that workflow and then put it into a channel manager and then make it an option for a video format. And then I'll be able to connect a new channel and then set that to be that video format. And then I'll be able to make the videos and upload them automatically.
Yeah, I mean that would be sick.
That's just like my big thing. It's just like there's definitely like things you can use to like kind of help with that. But for me, I just like building stuff. So it's
Right.
just kind of fun.
If you're someone like me who can't really code, having something like this, it's called make.com. Having something
Mhm.
like that is like something I want to start experimenting with.
Oh yeah,
But I
that
mean, even just this idea
that's
of like
great.
making shorts, because I know you were talking about how like, well, we need to come up with the hooks. Well, this video style is done completely like hookless, which I thought was cool. Another one that's huge right now, and I think is one that if you can code well and if you want to try to tap into this would be pretty big, right? And I assume it would be a similar thing where you just have the storyline out each time and then you
Yeah,
do that. But like
I
this little
can.
rabbit saving the turtle. But like this, because of the fact that this has no script and no language, they're able to get like 160 million views
Yeah, that's
on one
insane.
video. You know what I mean? Compared
Mhm.
to if you had a language, no one else, only a certain percentage of people on Earth can even watch this video, really. But
Yeah,
languageless videos have a huge potential.
yeah. I mean, I could definitely do that. Like, you can pretty much use the same process as what I'm doing for the stories. You create the idea, create the um, outline of like what's going to happen, and then break up instead of doing scenes, just break those up and then turn them into prompts for the videos or images or whatever. But also the tough thing too with that would be kind of getting it to generate the prompts to get the output you want,
Right.
which would then I would either just do a lot of testing with prompting and kind of get that figured out, or build a fine tune, do that for you. So then that would take a lot of testing. But like, yeah, it would be automated for sure. And it's just kind
Yeah.
of about the other thing too for me is just kind of about whether it's worth it. I wouldn't want to spend like a ton of time building something, and if the niche isn't like high RPM or it doesn't have like a high potential, or there's a low barrier of entry, then that's good as well, because then that means a lot of people are just going to do the bare minimum and think it's going to be okay. So, and if you do a little bit more
Do an
effort,
improvement on that. Yeah.
yeah, then you're going to stand out a bit more, and people are going to eventually tune into. That's what I did. Like for mine,
Yeah. How did you find out about that channel, that type of video style in the first place? And then how
um,
did you do your research and where did you see like, okay, I could actually make this better than they're currently making this?
so I honestly can't remember how I found the idea to even start that in that creepy stories niche or whatever. I don't even remember how I
I guess it's a pretty
figured it out.
ubiquitous idea.
That it just I just kind of knew about them, and I was just kind of like it's kind of at least something I would be somewhat interested in. Like it's kind of not like um, garbage or like kind of interesting genres or whatever. Um, I've never like been interested in them, to be honest. Really, like maybe vaguely, but like and then like when I was doing my research, I would look at like the biggest 10 or so channels and just kind of see what they were doing. And I noticed that they were uploading every few days or like once a week or whatever. So like I was like, that's a low upload frequency. If I can use AI to help my workflow and make it faster, then I'd be able to do it every day, which would give me an advantage because that's more throwing more darts pretty much um, into the sky to see if one will hit something. With that, I also saw like um, with ChatGPT getting released, I was like, eventually this will be able to write stuff. Like eventually it will be able to write stories. AI is getting good with voices. Eventually you'll be able to have it voice it. That's just going to be a lot easier because if I can jump on that and get on that early and get it figured out, then I'll have an advantage because it'll already know what I'm
Other
doing.
people wouldn't have caught on yet, so you'll be able
Yeah,
to, yeah.
yeah. And then I also saw too that they would use stories from like Reddit or like other websites or whatever. And with that, you have to like get permission, which is like obviously good. Like, yeah, you should.
Do you have to actually though? Like, do people
Yeah,
just get away with? So people don't get away with just taking a Reddit story.
no. I honestly tried that at the start, and then I got 2 strikes, and I was like, okay.
2 strikes from a Reddit, from like the dude on Reddit who wrote
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Because they have like a
Wow.
whole
Okay, I did
community of
not
people that like
realize.
that
I
like
did not
look
realize
for
that. So what did they?
new
They
stuff.
claimed copyright even though they're an anonymous Reddit account.
Well, I mean, they can prove whatever, which is fair. Like they spent the time to write it. That's cool. I get it. That was on me.
That could be a good way to make money. Like you just make popular Reddit stories,
Hmm.
wait until people try to copyright it, you copyright strike them, and then you say, okay, fine, if you pay me $300, I'll take the copyright strike down.
Yeah,
And then
maybe.
just keep doing that for everyone that tries to copy you.
But yeah, I mean that happened to me, and like I was in the I didn't like I kind of like definitely knew what I was doing, but I thought I could get away with it, and I couldn't. And I was like, okay, that's like, which is fair. I'm like, it happened. It's whatever.
So people who
But
want to post on YouTube shouldn't take a Reddit story and
no,
post it.
no,
They will get
especially
striked.
too because like the person spent time making it or whatever. They came up with the idea. They wrote it.
I'm not asking yet from an ethical standpoint.
No, yeah, I'm not saying like
I'm
for
asking
me,
from
like
a practical standpoint.
yeah,
Like they won't get monetized anyway. They'll get striked,
no,
and it
yeah,
won't work. Okay.
yeah. So like,
Ethically,
'cause
it's also wrong. So don't do it for
yeah,
that reason as
so it's
well.
like
But
the thing I noticed is like people that's what they were doing. They're all getting their stuff from like the same source. Like sure, there's like tons of stuff out there, but like eventually, like you're gonna hear something twice, or you're gonna see something at the same time from somewhere else, and you're gonna have to ask for permission, get a reply back, try and probably make a deal like a revenue share thing, because I know that's
yeah,
the thing that they do, where it's like if you make a video on my story, then like I want X% or whatever.
right. How do these Reddit story creators even find the videos that other people copied?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Is there
I
some
think
transcript
I think
checker
they
where
I
it like
think
cross checks
they
the
just probably
transcript to
just
see if
see
it's the
them,
same? Or they
see them
literally
on their
stumbled
feed.
upon it and just
Yeah,
striked it?
I think that's probably just what it is. They just stumble
That's
upon it
crazy.
and they're like, I recognize this, and then they're like, you probably didn't get like you didn't get permission or whatever, you're not providing
Mhm.
credit or whatever. But then I saw that was like another thing where it's like just another thing of like having to rely on and deal with people.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can use AI to kind of solve that, then that's another advantage for me.
Mhm.
And then I kind of went with that where like it was still me doing it, obviously, but it was with the help of AI and kind of speeding everything up as quick as I could.
So, and that's
Yeah.
how you beat out the competition.
Yeah, and just pretty much just pure consistency. I think in the past 2 years, I think I've missed maybe like 10 days.
Yeah. Can I go to your
Random
channel and
stuff.
see how many videos? I want to just see how long.
Yeah.
So, what is your channel's name? Let me pull this up.
Insomnia Stories.
Insomnia Stories, like this.
Yeah, there it is.
Jesus. So this profile picture was made with AI.
Yeah, a really long time ago when I was like Midjourney was brand new.
Yeah. And how are these? So how are these thumbnails made? Also, are the thumbnails fully automated, or
Yeah.
do you still add the text?
Yeah, those are automated.
Wow, that's cool. So even the text is automated. This is just the first like 10 words from the actual story.
No, it's just the title that it created.
Okay. Uploading creepy stories every day at 7 p.m. 660 videos. That's insane.
Yeah.
So most of your videos don't get that many views. If you get 1,000 views on a video like this, maybe 2,000, how much does that pay you?
Well, I get about $20 per 1,000 views, but like right now, my channel's kind of just starting another upswing since I've made improvements to the program, which like honestly for a while, AI just like wasn't really good enough, I'd say, to like kind of consistently do what I needed it to do. Like just since they released the reasoning models of like O1 and now I use
Yeah.
O3 Mini, it's become possible to have higher quality, like higher quality control because it would be smarter and kind of think about what needs to be done
Mhm.
and kind of give that feedback. Because that's like what I use it for now is like just kind of giving feedback for like what needs to be fixed in the scene because it can't write perfectly, but like GPT-4o is good at writing, was it's just not good with like the memory and thinking
Yeah.
about what needs to be done. So I mean, like this is still very new. Like definitely like in the past month or so, I've seen some growth again.
Mhm.
But it's still a work in progress, and I think eventually I will get it to a point where it will actually be like very, very good as I keep practicing and working on it and figuring things out. So I
Mhm.
mean, like it's still making money. Like I'm still making like a few thousand a month passively,
Yeah,
pretty much from it. But
that's insane.
it's
Yeah.
not like 10,000 plus where like I want to get back to, which it will eventually, and I'll get that figured out.
Even on a video like this right here, which got
Hmm.
1.2 thousand views, this made you like 20, $25 right here,
Yeah, pretty much.
which is like your worst performing video pretty much in the past
Yeah,
2 weeks. So,
it'll
and that
probably be.
still makes you profit. So you spent
Hmm.
$2 making this, you made back 20, so a $10
Yeah,
profit.
yeah.
And
From
then,
where it
so
used to
what
be,
causes a $20 RPM?
I've honestly don't actually know.
Do you run a bunch of mid-roll ads?
I just let YouTube choose. I think if I remember right, it puts in like every few minutes. So like
Mhm.
sometimes I get someone in the comments that complains about ads, but most of the time no one cares.
Yeah. Can I tell
Um,
you something I do? I purposely, I also run mid-roll ads.
mhm.
Since I don't like sell a course, I'm like, all right, guys, if all my content's gonna be free, like
Oh, I
there's gonna
always
be
say
ads on
run
it.
mid-roll ads with even like people that do normal content because no one cares, to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. I feel like the viewer doesn't even think about the fact that I chose for those mid-roll
Yeah,
ads. They just think it's YouTube.
yeah,
Apparently, YouTube decides,
hmm
can override basically whether or not.
yeah. That's why I've told people before is like just let YouTube choose. Put the ads wherever it wants to put them. It's not going to show every single one, but like
Yeah,
it'll show as much as it can for that viewer
right.
before they end up clicking off because it knows how many ads they view per video or whatever before they end up
Mhm.
clicking off or whatever, and it'll optimize it so that they don't and
So
watch
is
as long
that
as
how
they can.
YouTube works? If you're a person who they collect data on how often when you see an ad do you actually leave,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
how it works.
so
Like
what I should
sometimes,
do then is I should
yeah.
actually, in theory, then shouldn't I just have put like a mid-roll ad every like 30 seconds to every minute, and then YouTube will just
Um,
decide to skip all the ones that don't work well?
Probably, but I feel like they would just get most of them anyway, so it's probably just not worth it to spend the time to do that. So I would just honestly just let
Wait,
YouTube
so
choose,
do you know,
and
does
then it'll be
YouTube
good.
run mid-roll ads that you don't choose? Sometimes not run mid-roll ads that you did choose?
I think it's only sometimes like if there's a place in the video that's for an ad roll, that's where one can happen, and then it
So
will
you
either
put a
happen or it
spot
won't.
and then YouTube might run an ad during that
Hmm.
spot.
Yeah,
But
it's not
YouTube
100%.
won't run an ad unless you said you
Yeah.
can run an ad in this spot.
Still
That's
it's
a
a
good
choice.
thing. I'm gonna test doing like an ad every 30 seconds or every minute
Yeah.
and just see what happens. See if
Honestly,
people in the comments
you're
get
probably
pissed
just not even gonna see
and
a
see if it
change.
affects my RPM.
I
Yeah.
don't think you're gonna see a change in like your view duration or anything. Like when I first started, I was kind of like of the mind of like, oh man, ads suck, so I'm just not gonna
Yeah.
put any. So I would put like one in between because before I was doing like maybe two stories or whatever in a video. So I'd put one at the end of one story before the start of a new one, or like in the middle of another one. And then I had like a $5 RPM, something like that. And then I just kind of started adding more, and eventually it's let YouTube choose, and I was like I didn't see my view duration or anything go down. Nothing
Mhm.
changed. And then I was all of a sudden making 3, 4 times as much money. And
Wow.
it was like,
So by clicking the button that allows YouTube to choose when mid rolls are played on your video, you went from
mhm,
$5 per thousand views to $20 per thousand views.
yeah,
Which honestly is the difference between a video that you post clearly being profitable versus like barely being profitable, at least the
hmm
low performing ones. Yeah,
yeah,
I like to set a standard where I know that my bad performing videos still make me more money than how much I spend on them. So
yeah,
it's like the worst case scenario is like I break even,
hmm
and everything that does better than my worst performing stuff is just making me money. You know what
yeah.
I
My
mean?
overhead is so low, so it's really hard
Exactly. Yeah,
for
exactly.
me to not be profitable. Like literally just have to make $500 in a month, and I'm profitable. Um, and that's actually even like 100% return actually. But that's yeah, it's really just kind of I think a lot of people would like miss that Like it won't like I'm not gonna say it's like gonna 4x your ads. I think I just got lucky, or like for
I
some
think it's
reason
because
my
you have so
niche.
many opportunities in your
Yeah,
video.
I think it's just the niche too, because like my friend that he did the drama videos, his was around like $5 to $10 RPM,
And
and
same
his like
length.
same length, same duration, did the same thing.
You know what age group your audience is? Way more
Mostly
money to
adults.
spend.
Like
Yeah, that's huge.
biggest is like 30s. I think is my age range, like the biggest,
Mhm.
and then it's like yeah, like there's like no one under 18 pretty much.
That probably helps it a lot. Versus the
Mhm.
drama niche is probably a lot of like teens, like I don't know,
Yeah,
obsessing over Kim Kardashian or whatever.
that's true.
Yeah, what I was gonna say also is I pretty much place my mid-roll ads right before I'm about to say something important. Like what you don't want is someone to see an ad and then click off because an ad came. Normally retention graphs look something like this, right?
Yeah.
Where most people drop off at the beginning if they even decide to drop off. I make
Mhm.
sure to not run any ads in the beginning. Wait till like 2 to 3 minutes in and then run them much more frequently. And then I make sure to, like, if I'm explaining in a video, I'm like, oh, and the one thing you need to do to monetize your YouTube channel is, and then I run the mid-roll ad right before I give the answer. You know what I mean? I'm sure that
Yeah.
pisses some people off. I'll see. Hopefully, someone watching this podcast will be like, "Oh my god, you did that on purpose!" Like, yeah, I wonder if that could also help for your stories. Like, I don't know if you purposely put the ad on a cliffhanger or not.
I don't do anything. I just upload it
You
and
just
then
click YouTube, run the ads.
yeah, and then I just enable monetization because when it schedules a video, that's all I have to do, just enable monetization, and then that's it.
I
I don't
think
really do anything.
like YouTube has such good data, and it lets you see
Mhm.
your RPMs on like each day. Like, what was your RPM
Yeah.
on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? So I have a pretty stable. I can look at it for each video, and it's pretty stable, right? So what I can do is I can literally change where the mid-roll ads are on the same video that I've seen all the data on for the past
Mhm.
week or two, and then see YouTube decide, does my RPM go up or down?
I think it's worth it. Like it'll probably end up making it go up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna like do a whole lot
And then
or
I'm
whatever,
also going to
but
try the strat
I think it's
of
worth a try.
spamming an ad every 30 seconds and then seeing
Yeah.
if that helps. So
I,
I'll
I
get
think
back
I
to
think
you on
that's worth a
that,
try.
and I'll actually come out with a video on that test. I think
Yeah.
that'll actually provide some really interesting
I think a
data.
lot of people are just scared with ads because they think like the vocal minority is like everyone, where like people complain, so it's like, oh, ads are terrible, everyone hates them or whatever. But like it kind of came as like a realization to me is like before I had YouTube Premium, I would just watch ads and I just didn't care. Like I was in the middle of a video,
Yeah.
I'm just watching the video and all of a sudden an ad comes up and I'm just sitting there for like 40 seconds or whatever, waiting for like 2 or 3 ads to go by. And then I realized I was like, if I'm doing it, then so would everyone else.
Everyone is, yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
I
I'm there to watch the video. I want to watch it. I don't care about
yeah,
a little
I
ad.
feel the same way. And then I got YouTube Premium, and now whenever my friend goes to show me a video and clicks on it, and there's an ad, I'm like, oh, bro, just why do you not have Premium, bro?
I know it's literally
you
like
know,
the
it's
easiest
like,
thing to
If
buy.
you're
It's
watching
so
on
worth it.
computer, bro, when someone doesn't have an ad blocker, I'm like,
Yeah,
that's not even. You don't even have to pay for that, bro. Like, come on, like.
it's so worth it. But like a lot of people don't pay for it. But it's like most people just don't care. I think people just overthink it and they think like vocal minority is everyone. So it's like sure it's good to get feedback or whatever and kind of take it into heart, but you don't have to like completely change just because one person said something. Because for one person that says something, there's going to be 1,000 people that don't say anything and don't care.
I think the most research has shown that like the on average optimal ad ratio is like for every 3 units of content you have 1 unit of ad. So if you look on TV, a standard hour will be 47 minutes of content or like television, and then 13 minutes of advertisement.
Yeah,
Right,
that
so
makes
3 to
sense.
1. Or if you scroll on TikTok or Instagram, you'll see it's normally every 4th or 5th scroll is an ad, and then the rest of them are content. So I think that around that ratio is like the optimal average ratio. Obviously, it's going to depend
Yeah.
on each audience,
Which
but
I'm
on
sure
average, I think
YouTube
that's pretty
takes
optimal
into
in terms of
account.
like getting people to actually stay and watch the video, getting enough people to watch the ad.
Yeah, which I imagine YouTube takes into account because
Yeah, right,
when
exactly.
they
And if YouTube,
put the
exactly, if
ads.
YouTube's optimizing it themselves,
Yeah, because I mean it makes
then I
them
don't.
money, so they're
Yeah,
gonna
they're
they're
gonna.
not gonna
Yeah,
do anything that'll
exactly.
hurt them because then it hurts you as well. So it's like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
let YouTube choose and then see what happens because I'm
That's
sure it's
super
gonna
easy.
be
I
for the
wonder
better.
as a viewer, you can, every time you get an ad, just swipe out of the app and then trick YouTube into thinking that you're someone who will leave every time an ad comes up. So then they don't
Probably.
play mid-roll ads when you watch it.
That could maybe happen. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I think we hit on a lot of topics there. That's pretty insane. Do you have any specific plans for future videos? And also, if you could show me, I'd love to see like your actual, what your bot looks like. You don't have to show any of the code or anything, but I'd love to just see like.
I would have to show the code because it's like
Oh,
in the
okay,
code
okay.
or so. But like I can show it to you like afterwards or whatever if you want.
Okay.
Because it also takes like 20 minutes to run. So like I don't know if you want to
Right.
say
So it would just be boring sitting here.
Yeah.
But even just what the process looks like
Yeah.
you open it in VS Code and then just click run and then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, like for future right now, my plan is to just continue optimizing the program, make it as good as I can. Because like right now, I'd say I'm like 90%, like in terms of confidence and like where I think it should be. I'm like 90% there. I still have to like work on prompts and stuff because it's
Right.
just getting
And
the
all
output
that's
I'm
missing,
looking
you
for.
think, is the fine tuning of.
Yeah. Like mostly it's there. It's definitely way better than it was before since I made the improvements. So I'm sure I'll start seeing more videos doing well and things happening. And like kind of like after a month or so, that going in and kind of have that confidence where it's like, okay, I think this can work for other things, then I'll go and start on my other channels again and then get those going.
No, I'd love to see this, but with 10 channels at once, and it's just like 50K on like your worst month.
Yeah,
that's like so many
that's the
accounts
plan.
running. And again, if the code is this easy, I don't know if is the reason that you only post once or twice a day to just see like, will YouTube like hurt my views if I post too frequently?
I don't think it matters, but it's just kind of what like other people are doing is kind of like the status quo of like what the niche is. I think if you do too much, then people could get turned off. So it's like just one per day, and like at the same time everyone expects is fine. But like if I'm testing something, then I'll do a couple per day.
Have you looked at your returning viewer stats? Like what percentage of your viewers are returning viewers versus new viewers?
I think
I'm curious if it's just the same people every time.
A lot of them, 40% of my views are, I think it's like 40, 45, something like that, are like subscribers. So it's like,
okay, wow,
a lot of my views are just people that keep watching.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
And they just, a bedtime story, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. I mean, I upload later in the day, so it's kind of like on purpose. So it's kind of like at night. So like it'll show up in people's feeds kind of around that time. Because my audience is pretty much mostly US, so it'll be around that time anyways. But I don't think upload time really matters too much. Mine says, because like it'll show up on your feed no matter what. Like I've gotten videos where it's like someone uploads at midnight, the next day or the next morning, then it's right there in my feed. Yeah, so I'm gonna see it either way if YouTube wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Or the video just pops off like 5 days after it was posted.
Yeah. So I feel like people will overcomplicate
well, it definitely doesn't
things.
matter if that's how it works.
Yeah, I think people overcomplicate things too much, and it's just about making stuff people want to watch. Like for mine,
I agree.
My channel was doing well at the very beginning because it was stuff people wanted to watch, and then I did the automation too soon before it was like actually good enough, and people didn't want to watch it, so people stopped watching, and my views went down.
Yeah,
and that's fair game. That's just how it works. I
agree. I get so many questions. So many people are asking me like, bro, when should I post? What are the best hashtags? Blah blah. I'm just like, bro, like
none of that matters. Just make sure people want to watch. If they want to watch it, they'll watch it. YouTube will see that people want to watch it.
And then they'll push that out more.
Yeah.
And if you do that, my thing on that is though, over time that's true. Yes. It's not necessarily true in a 1 day or 1 week span, but over a
you definitely need to have like a formula, I think, because like I was like with Mr. Beast, like I've looked at him and I've also been kind of doing a little bit of testing to see how I can format the narratives of my stories to kind of hook people in and then keep them going. So I'm trying to work on that more because I honestly haven't really focused on that at all until like recently. I've realized that it's like definitely important to have like a formula because like with Mr. Beast, he's like obviously the greatest and he has tons of knowledge and data and all that stuff, and they have a formula for how they edit and how they script and structure the videos in order to keep people interested constantly. You definitely need to be able to do that for get people to watch. But to do that, you also have to have the content itself be good and what people want to watch, so they will stick around.
First of all, did you even read these stories yourself, like on your own free
Um,
time? Like, is this something you even care about, or is it something that's literally just like, oh, this seems
it,
to work, and I'm trying to get the most amount of views for
or
my
when
channel with it?
but like when I was in school, I would kind of like just be bored in class, and I would like browse the No Sleep
Pop an
subreddit.
AirPod in and just be
Yeah,
listening during
yeah, like
class.
either like listen to them or like browse the subreddit just to kind of like pass time, get something to like read or whatever. Kind of like other things that are happening that are like kind of freaky and weird, and like it's kind of like plausibly real, where it's like not like too ridiculous, but it's like this could potentially happen in like some weird alternate world or whatever. So it's
Yeah.
just fun. I do enjoy the content more than if I was doing like drama stories or like relationship stuff or whatever, because I don't care. So like
Yeah.
that would like I that would that's what another thing too is like I'm only gonna do those videos if I can make sure it's automated and I don't have to mess with it, because I don't care. I'm not gonna bother to like proofread those and make sure they're good, and because I
Yeah.
don't care.
But
So
so you think that if someone wanted to go into this, they should like it enough that they'd be willing to deal with the process of like
oh
proofing?
yeah, you have to like
And if
learn.
you would think if you didn't, you would not have succeeded.
No, I mean I've done lots of things before, and I've made all of my money I've ever made online. Um, and I've just done lots of things where like I was making money and I just didn't enjoy it, and it's just then I just stopped, because you can't keep doing something if you don't enjoy it. And if you want to like do something and actually be good at it, you have to put tons and tons of time into it to actually be good, and you have to
Yeah.
pretty much dedicate what you're doing to it, and you have to like put all the effort in to make it better than what anyone else could do. And that's just kind of what, as a base requirement, you have to be somewhat interested in it, because if you're not, then you're just going to get burnt out. I mean, I got burnt out with it just because like I was interested in it, but it was just the super repetitive workflow, which I guess is like that's like a thing with like office jobs or whatever, but it's just like
Yeah.
still like just kind of boring work to do. And I've also kind of been considering, just as just to try it out, is like building a workflow in my channel manager that I'm building, so
Mhm.
that it'll let me do my old workflow that used to take 4 hours, but I'll be able to like actually manually review and all that stuff. But I'll be able to streamline it completely to where it should probably take me like 30 minutes to an hour if I
And you'd
want to.
still, so it would reduce the amount of time, but adds in the human element that
Yes,
really is the part that actually improves the story and
yes,
makes it
which
good enough
will,
that it's the difference between a 1,000 view
yes.
video and a 100,000 view video.
Yes, which
That
I
little
was working
extra
on that for a
improvement.
bit, and then I kind of paused after I made these improvements because I saw that things were um, doing well. So I'm gonna kind of keep pursuing the automated. But like if like sometimes like maybe it's just not there yet. But like for now, it's working good enough. But like for me, I want to strive for the best. That's kind of my thing. Is I hate not being the best at something. And it does really annoy me if people are better at me than stuff. But it's like if I think it's going to be required, and to maybe the technology just isn't completely there yet, I at least have the framework done to use new models if they come out. Then if I need to, then I'll definitely build a workflow that'll pretty much do what my program does, except I get the ability to edit and give the feedback on the scenes. And then from there, like that's just easy. Like when I was doing that, that was literally
Right.
the quickest part. It would take like maybe, I don't know, 1 to 2 minutes to edit a scene. And then if I have to do that for like 10 scenes, and that's like maybe 20 minutes, and then I'm
Yeah.
done.
I think
So
eventually you take
yeah.
that, once you get that, and if you really find that the human role benefits it a lot,
Hmm.
you do it yourself for the first channel, you build up a second channel, you get both of them working, and at that point you probably have enough to just find someone who's actually loves storytelling
Yeah.
and hire them to do that last
Yeah.
checkover and editing, and now you have that done for
Yeah.
both
Which
of
like
them.
sometimes things work, like, and sometimes they don't. Like for now, I'd say it's probably working, but I'm just like kind of super hesitant. This is like, oh, you can just do this and automate it completely and have it make a ton of like have it make like $20,000-$30,000 a month, which
Yeah.
maybe it could be possible if I can get the improvements and make it good enough. But if not, then it's like still just even just automating most of it and kind of
And just a little human touch. Yeah. I mean, all of my channels are no code, so they're from scratch human made.
Yeah.
Again, we have it formatted in a way where it's like it's pretty similar to what you were doing at the beginning, where it's like there's a very specific workflow that you pretty much follow every single time.
Yeah.
So maybe we could outsource some of it with code, but like,
I mean,
if you can get a pretty like streamlined process, having people working on the videos can be done pretty cheaply, especially if it's only like 30 minutes of work. You find one guy who's good at telling stories and likes it, they can do a majority of that and do that last 10% improvement that, again, 10x is what the video does.
Yeah, so like that's kind of what I'm testing with, because like before my channel did well because I was the one that had the human touch to it and actually made it better, which I've built fine tunes with ChatGPT to kind of get that output. Like with the titles that my fine tune makes, you can't do that with a normal prompts. It's just not possible. You won't get the same quality or whatever. And like even with everything else I'm doing, like the story ideas with the prompt, with the fine tune, with other areas I have fine tunes in, it's just about finding where AI kind of falls behind and kind of lacks, and then building a fine tune to kind of show it what you're looking for to get that higher quality, because they can produce high quality stuff, but you just have to teach it to. It's pretty much what it is. It has to be a very specific thing. You can't just have it be like, oh, write this whole thing or whatever, do all this stuff. You have to give it one very specific task and then make sure it can be good at it.
How
long, kind of like normal people.
How long until AI will be just as good or better than you actually hiring a human to do it? Even like a really good storyteller.
I could see within 2 years for sure.
2 years.
Yeah.
Human storytellers are gone.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like at least for my use case, for sure, definitely like not gonna
maybe not
needed.
for Hollywood movies yet.
Yeah, but like it's definitely getting there. Like I feel like with improvements from like graphics cards and stuff, computing power is becoming more available to get these models to be even better and even bigger. And like these new reasoning models that we're having, they are making a huge improvement in just being able to think and just be smarter and kind of know what to do. Like with 4.0, when I was like trying to get it to check for errors in the scene, it just like would kind of pick up some stuff I'd want, but like it just wouldn't understand that like some things do need to change in the scene in order to progress. So like it can't be like, oh, this thing was like said like this way, or like it was said it was like this, but then in the new scene it's changed and it's different, so then it needs to be fixed so it's the same. That just doesn't really work. But like with O3 Mini, it's able to understand that that needs to be changed for the story to progress. So now it's just kind of picking out the main plot errors and timeline issues where it's like you didn't properly say like a transition between like this scene where like a character's in one place and all of a sudden it's like the next day or like the next later that day.
It lacks enough continuity between,
which is like the big thing is just getting the continuity and making sure the story flows well, so then it's able to catch that and be like, hey, at the beginning of the scene rewrite this, so then you include that
so it actually makes sense. So is the only way that you currently have of monetizing right now ad revenue? Have you tried other thing?
No, I for a little bit, like I've considered trying like sponsorships or whatever, but I don't really know how that would work. I feel like AdSense is just kind of like the easiest, no headache way, because it's just upload, do that. That's kind of like my whole thing with this is just kind of like no headache, just upload videos, get money, and then
I'm curious if there's, so with faceless channels, I haven't had much success with this, with like conversions to stuff. And I think it's just because there's like no trust, right? Like when someone watches my unfiltered channel and watches me talk about the stuff that I've done, it's like, okay, there's an actual dude that did this, and like, you know what I mean? When they see like a faceless animal video, telling them to buy a pet product. It's like, why would I trust it? Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason for them to want to buy it. And so we found our conversions were pretty terrible with that. But at least from a personal perspective of my channel, I've had a ton of success through affiliate marketing, actually, just putting like links to products in the description. And so I wonder if that's another potential source. Like these types of people that get booked, you know, a good thing. I don't know if Audible has an affiliate program, but I feel like that could work really well because a lot of these people, I think they would listen to audiobooks. And then if you had a link that could get them like a free month on Audible.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I have considered even like uploading them as like audio podcast things because I know other channels do that, but I don't like know.
To Spotify or Apple Music. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know like what the revenue is kind of like with that, like how that works. So I haven't like really looked too much into it because I'm still focusing on this because it's actually just making money. So it's like and
that's true. Yeah, double down on what works first. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but yeah, you should look into it because I think a lot, especially something like Audible, to me could be a really good option. Again, I don't know what their affiliate program specifically looks like, but there's a lot of softwares right now, and this is where I've had the most success. You have someone on a subscription, and the software pays recurring commission.
Oh,
so a lot of people who buy Audible, me probably, are never going to cancel realistically. Like I have an Audible subscription. Realistically, I'm never canceling. Their affiliate program might work in the way where it's like you get 20% of everyone you refer every month. So if I pay $10 a month and you referred me, you'd get $2 every month for the rest of your life. And what's cool about that is if the spooky stories niche ever dies on YouTube or gets demonetized or whatever, like you have a source of this dude who bought Audible who's never canceling because who even remembers their subscriptions that you get money from every month forever, basically.
Yeah.
And so you refer like one person a day, doesn't $2 a month each person. Okay, but stack that up over a year, over a couple years of you doing your channel, maybe on multiple channels even. And that's enough for you to just literally chill.
Yeah, you know I mean, I'll definitely look into the Audible thing. I think that's a good idea. That could probably work.
Yeah, I mean, affiliate software subscriptions are, for me, have been the best. But even just a one-off thing, I'm not sure how much money that could make, but even just like a link to a collection of spooky books on Amazon with an Amazon affiliate link.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really looked into doing the affiliate stuff because I've just kind of been laser focused on this. And I mean, like the RPM is like insane. So it's like even just 10,000 views a day on average is a full-time income.
Yeah.
So like that's like, what is that? That's like 6,000 a month with 10,000 views a day only, which is like insane. Like just that little amount. And like there's the big channels are getting like millions of views a month, like 2 to 4 million or whatever. So that's like easily 40 to 80,000 a month if they're doing the same ads as I am, which I don't know if they are. Yeah, that's kind of like what my thought process is. And like if I can like multiply out with multiple channels once I'm feeling comfortable with and confident in doing that, then I'll just be able to easily multiply and be passive still.
That would be solid, bro. I mean, the content is obviously king. Like get that locked in, perfected.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've been focusing on.
Go about and see. Okay, we've been doing this with we're trying to work with like a music company who's trying to promote on Instagram and TikTok as well, on top of like the YouTube music royalty program. And so we were like, we can now come to them because I have so many people in the Discord that are getting so many views, and I can say like to the YouTube music royalty plan, like we referred like 2 billion monthly views to this. Like this is what we have. It's consistent. It's solid. Like we've done it. Like now it's all on how much do you value that attention? Because I haven't captured 100%, like no question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I think you come to an advertiser with, or you come to your own affiliate link with and say like, I know you want more Audible customers. I have like 20,000 people a day coming to listen to my audiobooks that don't all have an Audible subscription yet. Like, trust me, you want these views. Like, so when you can make a good argument to them but it all stems from the content. But once you have good, solid proof that you can consistently get what they want, then you can
Yeah.
pitch that, and it's like
Or just like,
that's a
which is
pitch
like
where
the
it's like
main
impossible for them to
focus
say no to that.
is
Like the
like,
value is in front of their eyes, and they can't
yeah,
pretend to be like to like negotiate and be like, oh well, that's a somewhat we would somewhat be interested in that. Like no, like they definitely need that. Like
yeah. It's definitely just about getting the content up and just like whether it's improving the program or making it so like I kind of just have a super streamlined version of my old workflow where I just only am making minor edits, which honestly I probably even would have to do less than I did before because I don't have to like change stuff and have it regenerate too much. Um, or even yeah, it's just about either doing that and getting it to show me the final scenes and just go through and edit for like I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes, and then that's it. I don't know whatever it's going to be, but like still, like even if I do that, it's still going to be mostly automated, and it's just going to be that's all I have to do, which is like totally fine with me. Like because then if it increases
yeah,
the quality and then makes more money, then it's just like 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day. Then that's no big deal.
100%. And who knows? Maybe you'll be able to just do it full time. But
Yeah,
you might need a couple channels and to have a little more security, and then you know.
yeah. I mean, I have some other things I'm um, doing that are making me money, but like this is kind of like the one where like I'm kind of wanting to use it as like a bit of a safety net, where it's just like just consistent passive income that's just coming in. I don't really have to do much, and I just know I just have that pretty much base amount. Because like with self employment, like the big thing is you just don't really know how much you're gonna make next month and the month after and all that, and like just so much variation with YouTube. So it's kind of about building the diversity of what your income is coming from like YouTube especially, because if you only have one channel or two channels, then it's kind of like tough.
Yeah,
But if you have like five spread across different formats and different, um,
yeah, you can lose one.
yeah,
It's not a big deal.
yeah. So that's the big
100%.
thing. Is like I even had a demonetization last year. I was
On the
demonetized.
on the Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, for about a week, I was demonetized, which was back when
What happened?
I can't remember what it was for. I want to say it was reused content or
Hmm.
something like that. And I had to make an appeal to show a video of how my videos were made.
Did you show them the Python? Or no, was this not at the time? Was this
This
not at the
okay,
time?
this was actually when I was running the channel on the Python script, like on the
Uh
Python program. But I don't know if I should say this actually. Never mind.
huh. You're like, I didn't.
Um,
YouTube asked me to show my process, and I told them I edited it all myself.
yeah, because that's what I did. Wasn't the program wasn't good enough, so I was making them myself still.
How does how you make your videos matter to YouTube?
I can't remember if it was reused content or whatever or something. It was something like that. I don't know if it was reused content. I don't know. They were just like, you have to show us how you make how you make your videos,
Yeah.
like in a
I mean,
five
we've
minute.
had that
Like,
too, and yeah, that was reused content for us. They were like, "Show us your video
yeah,
editing
so it might have been
process,
reused
prove
content.
that it's transformative."
Yeah,
Which, I mean, whether you use generative AI or you manually create the stories, they're both transformative. Like they're both not
yeah,
taking from anyone.
yeah. That was interesting. I was demonetized for about a week because I had to kind of figure out how
And
to
you put in the appeal, and they just
how to do that
instantly accepted that.
within a day, for sure. It was like I think I did it like in the afternoon, and then the
They
next
just
day
instantly were like,
I
"You're
was
good."
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I've been good ever since. So I think
Okay. Yeah,
it'll
you're
be fine.
chilling. Just,
Yeah.
yeah. That's perfect. Well, bro, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, no
Like, this
problem.
was
Thanks for
super
having me.
interesting. I think my viewers will see this. I'm gonna put like a title and thumbnail that's like he makes 5K a month or whatever it is. Maybe I'll
Mhm.
use the biggest number. He made
Okay.
23K a month from a bot that automated his YouTube videos. I'll make it shorter than that. I know you're supposed to be Mr. Beast says to keep it under the 50 character minimum, so or maximum.
Yeah.
So
I've been trying to optimize stuff with like my channel, but I
Mhm.
just realized with this niche it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I saw your thumbnails and
I
titles,
tried
and
different thumbnails to see like
yeah,
one
exactly.
thumbnail was different a little bit, and I tried that, and like the title's a little bit different, and it made no difference.
Yeah, the standard for me would be to look at a video, like standardly I would look at a video with a title as long as yours and be like, oh, that's not optimal, like it's gonna cut off.
Yeah.
And then I'd look at it, but I'm like, this is such like a specific niche that like
Yeah, it's
there's no
just
way
so
that
weird.
applies.
It's
Like people
it,
who watch this, they already know what they're getting. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I think it's just
it's
really, I think
odd.
the key thing with thumbnails is always making sure you match expectations
Hmm.
with what you're delivering.
Yeah.
And so you do that. Like obviously if you have a really long title
Hmm.
and you have a thumbnail that shows the length of that, people are going to be like, oh, this is probably like a story. And they see the 1 hour thing. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be a long story. Like you don't,
Mhm.
it doesn't need, they know what it's going to be. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. Just kind of keeping the expectations of like what they should expect.
exactly. Well, yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah,
It
no
was super
problem.
nice to meet you. And yeah,
You too.
I hope my viewers find this interesting. So yeah.